Good day to everyone who's watching this video. I am Teacher Hazetee, Hazel Angeline E. Tesoro, Master Teacher 1 at Baras Senior High School, home of the Baras Genios, and a PhD Applied Linguistics student at the Philippine Normal University, Manila. So first up, I'd like to take this chance to thank my colleague, also a dependable and reliable friend, Teacher Neil S.M. Fernando, for inviting me to answer interview questions that we'll be delving into later on. So hello din po to Sir Neil's classmates and to their professor whom I look up to. Syempre kahit sino naman, di ba? Dr. Tet Rio. Hello, Doc. So ayan, let's head on straight off to our agenda. So number 1, can you share about the issues, gaps, and concerns in our educational systems in this time of pandemic? As a public school teacher who has been in service for almost 6 years now, I must admit that this pandemic has not only taught students a lot of things, but us educators as well. And among the top challenges I as a teacher encountered are dealing with students who experience difficulty in understanding the content of self-learning materials, or SLMs, and of course, juggling in between overlapping ancillary tasks and other special assignments, and cramming and not always having enough time for things, and printing modules and learning materials like weekly home learning plans and activity sheets for distribution to students. So all those things. And there were times that I felt like leaving my job post and accept offers from friends in the regional and central offices, and these thoughts came to mind when ancillary tasks and special assignments seemed to eat up the time that I should be spending on teaching related duties. But yun nga, though the mere thought of leaving somehow didn't feel right. Yes, I needed a break, but an escape, but in the end, it dawned on me that I only needed to rest or to slow things down a bit. I also do not want it to look like I'm betraying my job, no, because I believe being a classroom teacher is what God called me for, and I'm not turning my back from it. So, yeah, still part of number 1, and would you mind sharing your best practices in addressing gaps and issues? Yes. Having been confronted with challenges I mentioned, I realized that it made me learn about proper time management, prioritizing only things that are important, and those work tasks that are relevant. Right now, my personal best practices to I am maximizing my calendar widgets and to-do apps like Microsoft, to help me organize my life as a teacher and a graduate student. Also, I was able to discover strategies to help myself work smarter, such as using Pomodoro timers and focus boosters. Preparing canned responses for students na makukulit, no? And this works best for efficiently managing FAQs, or frequently asked questions. And for the last question for part 1, are you practicing the culture of collaboration, research, and innovation in your respective workplaces? Yes, no, we are practicing these things, and for collaboration, I would give our team a 9/10 because in 2020 we transitioned to online file sharing hubs and online collaboration tools for more efficient streamlining of work-related tasks such as file submissions, data gathering, idea mapping, planning, collecting artifacts, no, sa mga SBM tips, alam niyo yan. So, it really wasn't a smooth ride, no? And nung una parang feeling ko, ako lang may gusto nito, and I felt like parang I was feeling guilty na, shucks, baka they are having a hard time doing the transition to online files and stuff. But in the long run, I felt so appreciated kasi all of us learned the importance of online file hubs kasi andun na lahat ng kailangan namin ng ISME, or the Instructional Supervision, Monitoring, and Evaluation, SBM or School-Based Management, hanggang OPCRF and MOVs ng school head namin. So, for innovations, okay rin naman, I would give our team a 7/10 kasi we still have to work on other concerns like sustaining these innovations and planning out for new ones. So, because, times are changing and so are we, and so are our needs. Syempre, yung needs ng learners natin, and we should keep up. And for one, equipped naman na din tayo, most especially with lessons from the past. Ayan, from the past school year. Alam niyo yan. So, sa research naman, I would give our team sa school a 5/10 kasi isa pa lang yung nakapag-publish sa amin, and that is Sir Neil, and some others get to join call for papers din sa district, division, and region. Then ako naman on my end, I join research conferences, nakailan na rin naman, no? With God's grace, and syempre sa finish line nun, publication din. And I would have to admit na late bloomer din kasi ako, no, in the field of research, kasi sobrang takot ako before. I felt like I wasn't good enough when it comes to research, given the fact na may stutter din ako, no, so that comes along yung fear talaga with the presentation. So, hindi naman ako kagalingan, but I can say na getting better and better every time. Hindi naman yan overnight, magaling ka na agad, no? So, you achieve little milestones one day at a time. So, now, for the second part, as an educational leader, my perspective on why teachers are not empowered to innovate something. I guess there is such a thing talaga as this interest in work. That type when an employee is already lacking motivation, probably they have their own battles that they struggle from, kaya they have no energy na to spend on innovations, or maybe they feel like they're already at the peak of their career, no, na hindi na sila naghahangad na magpa-promote pa. So, why bother to innovate, diba? I mean, they can get by naman every month with their salary, or that's with or without the innovation. So, why spend your energy on things that would consume your time, diba? Thinking that pwede mo pa naman siyang spend yon sa family, sa jowa mo, sa passion mo, diba? Or things you really like doing. Oh, well, hindi ko po nila lahat, no, but if I were not the person I'm today, baka ganyan din ako mag-isip. And I feel like these people who do not take the initiative to innovate have less time to spend on design thinking, because most of their work hours are occupied with, you know, the usual ancillary tasks and overlapping responsibilities. No, take it from me and from Sir Neil na classmate nyo, kasi kung si Sir Neil ang reyna ng ancillary tasks sa school namin, I would say ako yung prinsesa, no, kasi halos kaming dalawa lang yung nagpaparamihan ng hawak. And why teachers aren't motivated to innovate, and this is rooted to the fact na they are not empowered, and that stems from the sad truth that maybe nobody empowers them, no, wala silang mentor, or maybe they have brilliant ideas pero walang support from heads or colleagues, kaya they end up being disheartened. Kaya wag na lang, wala naman silang pake sa ideas ko, so never mind. Hanggang that person lost the fire, and most importantly, people are not empowered, no? Because they don't empower themselves, no? Wala na yung grit, so ganun lang yon. And it doesn't matter naman, no, if teacher 1 ka, 2 or 3 or master teacher, you can always empower yourself and innovate regardless of the spot you occupy in the hierarchy. And now, my tip to you, paano mag-empower ng sarili, no, tips pala kasi tatlo siya. So, this is like how my favorite song goes, from Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, and the title is 17-8. So sweet. I learned this when I was 17, no? So, there's a fire in your eyes, and I hope that you let it burn. There's a scream in your voice, and I hope you will be heard. Ayan, this is one of my favorites, and I think you should listen to it kasi it's my fight song, I guess. And kasi yun nga, I grew up not having a voice, so ganon, and I slowly learned how to empower myself despite my stutter. And that's finding a thing I love about work and teaching, and that's tech. So that is integrating ICT in teaching. Second tip is to find your thing, referencing James Reid or si Gio sa movie na Never Not Love You in 2018. So I recommend you guys to try to find a song or a quote to support your self-empowerment. And number 3, don't be too hard on yourself. Wag mong pilitin to make progress agad, because you have to trust the process and wait for magic to happen. So, yan. And for the last question, what do you think are the factors that hinder in practicing and promoting the culture of collaboration, research, and innovation? So, I think that this is caused by people not knowing what the end goal would be. And kasi 'di ba nga may saying na keep your eyes on the prize, but if your staff do not know what the prize is, then what's the catch, 'di ba? Then they won't be motivated to drive their efforts to the end of the line. So they would be asking what for, 'di ba? So I think as educational leaders who are transformational instead of transactional, it would be very important for us to lead our respective teams purposively, not blindly, because or not based entirely on fear. Kasi like ito, o to gawin mo to kasi deadline today, o ito i-submit mo to kasi need ng representative, magaling ka dyan kaya ikaw na lang, o ito kasi ikaw naman yung dati so ikaw na ulit na lang ngayon, 'di ba? So and now and forever, and the cycle doesn't end, and it just goes on and on. So I think that collaboration, research, and innovation shall begin from the ones who truly want it, who really strive for it. Not because they're being forced into it, but because they are motivated towards it. And I thank you. So I hope that I was really able to answer the question substantially. And again, thank you, Teacher Neil S.M. Fernando, for having me to do this interview, and to your Professor Dr. Tet Rio, ang Lodi natin sa Community Extensions and Partnerships, Research, Innovations, ayan, not only in the local level, but in the international levels. Thank you, Doc, and ayan, God bless everyone po, and keep safe po sa inyo. Thank you, and bye!